Hello learners. Today we will talk about a beautiful poem, a very small and short poem by Carl Sandburg titled Fog. What is fog? Fog is the hazy covering that comes during winters, and you must have seen it in winters, which is now converted into smog nowadays because a lot of pollution happens in the cities. So fog comes generally in winter and cold temperatures. So this is how a city looks when the fog covers a city. You can see here some pictures of how fog covers gradually and slowly every part of the city that we live in. So it creates a covering, a haze. Everything becomes as if we are seeing it through some kind of veil or some kind of barrier in between. So not everything is clear, but it is covered with a little haziness. You can see the roads become very hazy. So the title of the poem is Fog. The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches and then moves on. I'll read it again. The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches and then moves on. So this is a very short poem but has a very deep message. What is the message? That the problems in life may come, they come slowly and suddenly, but they also go away. They also move on. It is part of life. So this is basically the theme. We should not worry about the problems as they come. Similarly, they move on too. So there are certain words that you may have heard for the first time, and these are called focus vocabulary. The first word is harbor. What is a harbor? Let's see a simple meaning. A place on the coast where ships may moor in shelter. Or in simple words, a place where ships are parked. It is basically along the coastline, along the uh, water body, the sea, the ocean, that cities are there, and the ships, the boats are parked along the harbor. So a harbor may look like this when fog is around. You can see some boats parked there, they are anchored there, they stay there and move again to their journey. The second word is haunches. What are haunches? To crouch down or sitting on one's thighs and buttocks together. So basically you must have seen a cat sitting on haunches. Here is a picture for you. A cat sitting on haunches. This is how generally you must have seen cats and all other animals of cat family who wait for their prey or who wait when the prey comes and they want to attack or move on or to move towards some place they want to go to. Basically, this is how a cat waits. A cat haunches on the wall to enter the house. And similarly, in this poem, the fog is haunching just like a cat on the harbor and waiting to cover the city in the haze. The literary devices used in this poem are metaphor. Metaphor you must have heard earlier also. It compares two things by transferring a feature of one thing to the other. Feature may be a quality or a or something that we can compare, a characteristic that we can compare of one thing to another thing. The poet Carl Sandburg compares the fog with a cat. Why? He compares the silent movement of the fog is exactly like a cat moves very silently on its feet when it tries to enter your house. You must have seen it. You must have seen various times that the cat is waiting at the door and meowing and trying to come inside, and very silently. You can never hear the footsteps or the noise from feet of the cat. Similarly, the fog is waiting at the harbor. Another literary device that is used here is enjambment. What is enjambment? The continuation of a sentence without a pause beyond the end of a line. And we can see this in the poem where the poet writes, "It sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches and then moves on." So basically, it is a single sentence that has been broken for effect in the poem. We can come to a brief explanation now. It is a small poem and there is a small explanation for this. The poem Fog is written in a free verse. What is a free verse? It means it has no rhyme scheme. We can move back to the poem and you can see that there is no rhyme scheme. These are the pictures. We'll see the poem. So when can we find a rhyme scheme? When the ending words of the lines are rhyming. But as you can see, comes, feet, looking, city, haunches, moves on, nothing is rhyming with each other. So this particular poem is in free verse. And the poet has very evidently compared the fog with a cat using metaphor. He has used metaphors in the poem, as we already discussed. He has compared the cat with the fog, the movement of the cat, the silence with which the cat waits on its haunches. Similarly, the fog is waiting on the harbor to cover the city. The fog moves silently just as a cat moves on its little feet without making a noise. Similar to how a cat waits on its haunches, the fog also waits over the harbor to come slowly. The fog converts the whole city slowly and the scene becomes hazy. Clarity fades and moving around becomes difficult. You must have yourself experienced this when in winters our city is covered in fog. So this is a very brief explanation, and as already discussed, the theme of the poem is that problems in life come silently and they move on once they have completed their course. We need not worry. We may not have a clear picture or the solution of the problem, but as time passes, the problem will pass and we will find a better life on the other side. So this is the theme and this is the lesson that we can learn from the poem Fog by Carl Sandburg. Thank you so much for understanding. Please read the poem